he's yeah.
Or like anecdotes, like he tells a lot of stories.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Okay. So what was it like working with him on the set? I mean,
It's good. I mean, the thing is, he'd always said that, like, if you ever make a movie and you have a part for a villain, then please cast me. So, and you know, it made sense to me. And
but he's so. I mean, he plays the father, and he's so like, you know, he's berating his children all the time. He's like really abusive to them. He's like, was that? How did that sort of? Was that based on a real character in your life? Or?
Yeah, it was based on certain characters, but also that it was the movie. This movie wasn't scripted so much. This is the least scripted of the films that I'd done. There's only one scene where actual dialogue was written. So a lot of it was stuff that I'd heard Werner talk about, or things that we discussed. You know, what are you going to say? Was, you know, I've got this great story about Dirty Harry. And you know, he'd go and he would do this terrific monologue on the virtues of Dirty Harry, and yeah, that's kind of how it came. It was like improvised from ideas, you know. A lot of stuff was like that, you know.
Yeah, it seems like that you started out with a skeletal premise, sort of, for the movie, and then you filled it.
Yeah, this is what happened. I wrote scenes where things where I said, imagine scenes where things could happen, might happen, possibly. Like, you set them up. I left them very open-ended, you know, allowed for, you know, stuff to happen, and so. But I think, like, Werner's character, he tapped into something probably that he'd learned in Bavaria.
It seems like it. And I mean, and of course, the film is basically inspired by your schizophrenic uncle.
Yeah,
who was in an institution.
He still is.
He's still in an institution.
And originally, I wanted him to star in the film. My uncle. My uncle used to eat sticks of butter, and he when I first moved into my grandmother's house, he was living there before he was institutionalized. He's you know, hardcore schizophrenic, and he would only eat sticks of butter, and she was getting really sick. And so they had to take him off it, butter, and his arteries were clogged, you know, just really bad shape.
He only ate butter.
Sticks of butter, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, he would drink Coca-Colas, you know, have these Cokes with in those cups. I always remember where these huge cups with big ice cubes, and he would shake them, and he put a Crisco on his hair, and you know, he was a intriguing guy, and. I've always felt bad that he was locked away in this place, and so what happened was a lot of this movie was filmed with hidden cameras, so I would go in to visit him with cameras on my body and stuff, and just start wanting to film him, see what it's like, you know, because they didn't allow as a public hospital, and
in
New York State Mental Facility, and so they caught me one day with one of the cameras and confiscated them, and. I realized I couldn't get my uncle. Also, my grandma at the time, she wasn't alive now, but she was opposed to bringing him out.
Because he would get violent with her.
No, he's not. He was never violent.
I thought you said that he threw her down the stairs once.
Oh, no, that was me.
Oh. Yeah. He threw you down, or you threw her down?
No, I tripped her on accident.
By accident. Okay. Did you and you and Bremner, who plays Julian, you took him into the mental institution as well to meet?
Yeah.
And he sort of based that performance pretty much on the same speech cadences.
Right, he would walk around with we'd make these recordings of my uncle and Ewan because he's Scottish and it's a really thick accent, and he would walk for like 6 months before shooting. He would just walk around with these headphones of my uncle's voice.
He obviously really got into the role.
Yeah, he was really.
I mean, there was rumors that at the time, I think I heard from you that you were talking to Macaulay Culkin about that role.
No,
is that true? No, or DiCaprio, or was that?
No, that's true. Like I'd been friends with Leo at that point, and I was talking to him, but he didn't want to do a movie that without dialogue. I think he just wasn't.
Like without a script or without?
Yeah, I didn't think it's hard for actors. For a lot of actors, sometimes it's really scary. The idea. I mean, it's a lot is on you when you have to come up with with your own dialogue, and the process is heavy. And for a certain kind of actor, it's not worth it.
Right.
And,
do you think he could have done it? Or?
Probably. You know, I don't know. You know, he went on.
Well,
maybe, you know.
Now he's
I'm sure he could have done something good. You know?
Now he's making crap like The Aviator. But anyway, let's go on to the next clip from Julian.
Back in the 50s, they had this world championship of talking birds. And they assembled all these parrots. And beetles, it's a starlit type of bird from Borneo, and boy, do they speak well. And the championship back then was won by a parakeet, a little parakeet, and the parakeet would say, birds are smart, but they cannot speak. And that really made him a winner. Boy, was that bird good, and you still can buy a record which repeats this sentence. Birds are smart, but they cannot speak, and you can teach your own bird. Maybe even dogs are going to talk one day. When we were kids, arriving at breakfast table, we had to say a poem, and it went like this. Guten Morgen, weißes Kätzchen, ist hier noch ein freies Plätzchen. Wenn du artig bist, dann ja, trink du hier, ich trinke da. Schlapp, 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 die Milch ist gut. Schlapp, 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 wie wohl das tut. We were allowed to have our cereals and coffee or whatever there was.
Okay. So I just showed that because, I mean, that even seems to be, you're getting into even more like really formalist sort of territory. It reminds me of like a Stan Brakhage film almost. So would you ever make like a purely formalist film, or do you consider this like a formalist? Like without plot or character altogether?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. The thing is that, like, well, here's the thing, is that I do love stories. And this is a problem that I have in, you know, just in general. It's a hard thing to keep making movies in this way. It's hard to get money for it. I love stories, but I just never liked plots in movies. When I think of films, I don't ever remember really plots. I remember characters and specific events. And so it's a hard thing with me when I write movies, because I feel any time that I try to impose a kind of like a false structure or something that would be, you know, that would drive the narrative, pull the narrative ahead, you know, something like a plot, a conventional plot. I feel like it's a lie, you know, and so. But when people read scripts these days and make movies, it's something that's almost essential in getting your film.
Why? You mean in order to get something made?
Yeah. So like, you know, and like it's difficult for me to capitulate, and it's always the one thing that would annoy me about making the movies. So I'll try to do it through character and stuff, but. See, I like stories. I just don't like plots, you know. And I just never felt like there were plots in life. I never felt like things in my life. I never felt like anything was beginning, and I never felt like I was at the end of anything or in the middle. I just always felt like things just go, you know. There was just you just exist, kind of. So I like, yeah.
So you would
So would I make a movie that's?
You would, but I mean the mechanics of the film industry sort of would prevent you from doing it.
I'll do what I'll figure it out somehow.
Well, let's talk about then just for a bit about your new movie, because you're making I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but you're making a new feature called Mr. Lonely, which is will be your largest budgeted film with name actors. Where you may be shooting in Iceland or whatever. But so how do you feel about making that kind of transition, and are you going to work with the same process as you've made these films?